Hello, welcome to Andertons TV. My name is Jack Duxbury and this is
Luke Aziz from SSL.
Thanks for being here, Luke.
Thank you very much.
We've got Matt in the corner and Oz behind the camera. And what have you brought in for us to talk about today?
So I've brought in our new single fader UF1 control surface, DAW center sort of point for your system. Alongside it, we've got a UFA 8 fader bank controller and our UC1 plug-in controller.
I'm not an internet savvy dude, right? But even I've seen a general hubbub about this. What is the excitement? Why are people getting excited about this?
It's just bringing together all of the sort of areas of our sort of ecosystem for control surfaces. Starting off with the UF8, just brings extra control and transport control to our DAWs, as well as being an extension of our plug-in controllers via the UC1. So it's bringing all of these three things together and just unifying the control. We don't need to touch the computer anymore. We don't need to touch our laptops or our pro systems. We can do near enough everything just off the control surfaces, bringing an analog, holistic control when we're mixing. That's the idea.
All of this is going into the laptop here. Let's just address, if you stuck around this long and you no idea what we're talking about, and you've got a laptop and you use a DAW to record, what does this give you if you buy this?
So on the off, we've got our fader control. So we've got 100mm motorized fader, and it essentially gives you a motorized fader control over every channel, bankable, and we just roll through our different faders like that. We've got transport control and jog wheel. We've got sort of movement control, and we've got VPOTs here, which we can control plugins from. We can control the DAW system from. We can control parameters within our DAW, like switching to plugin control, to fader control, to send control, to pan control. And we can also write automation directly from this. So it's just the centerpiece of control that we've got for the DAW, meaning that you can be hands-on, listening more and looking less. I think that's the idea. So you're using your ears, not your eyes.
Hands-on, big thing.
Yeah.
Let's see it. Are we screen grabbing this? We are screen grabbing.
Yeah, cool. So let's first.
And the bit hubbub I've seen, I'm really excited about. It is just that. For about 20 years I've been involved in this shop. I can remember we've always sold at least one product in the world of MI that had a motorized fader that someone wanted to do some automation with. This idea, and if you don't know what we're talking about automation, right? You got a track and you want to literally automate a parameter, but you don't want to do it with your mouse or draw it in. You can use this. And we've been selling it, but this takes it further, and especially with this screen, right?
Yes, so the screen gives us various different options. So at the moment you're seeing my transport bar from Pro Tools. So if I hit play, you're going to start, obviously hear some music in the background. But that's our time code, and we can select that. It's going to mirror exactly the time code we set up in Pro Tools. You're then seeing my channels, so we're starting from sort of kick onwards, and we can bank through our channels here.
Can I see this with the session? Is that right? And the kiddies can see it as well.
So so let's hit play, and this is our transport control. So we stop, we can fast forward, rewind. We've got a jog wheel as well, so we can scroll through, or we can scrub. Like old school tape play, we can start to rewind, fast forward.
I've always felt with these things, if I click on a track, will that be selected?
So there are some, so
how do we select tracks? I know it sounds silly, but I'm being very selfish.
So I can obviously use the UF8, and we're just going to scroll through my banks, and all I have to do is select the channel on here, or I can do it. So I select there, and now, as you can see, my faders are moving, and nice and responsive, super quick. I can solo from here. I've got the cuts, and this is the same on the UF1, so we can solo the channel here, cuts, and then we select from there, and I can then bank through all of these as well. And so these are working on the same MIDI channel layer. So what we've got is a virtual MIDI system set up within the 360 environment. We can have 3 different DAW layers set up at any one time, so I can jump from Pro Tools into Logic, into Ableton, into Cubase. I can run them all simultaneously. There's so much more to talk about that, so I really advise looking at the manual, the video manual that I've done online, and we do it for every single DAW.
Where do they go to see that?
So go to solidstatelogic.com or to the Solid State Logic YouTube channel, and you'll be able to link off onto each sort of
and thank you for being brief the brevity today. I appreciate it for me and for you. But if you want the in-depth, go check that out.
Yeah, there's so much that I'm just going to skim over today. So you want to get the real detail, go and sort of, you can see.
It looks like one of those flight simulator games, and it's as deep as that.
So in terms of DAW control, we've obviously got Pro Tools, Logic, Cubase, Ableton, Studio One. We also do Pyramix, we do Luna. And the nice thing is this is software that we're updating all the time along with the hardware, so there are more profiles coming for different DAWs, so the more people that ask for specific things, we'll do our best to try and get the integration in as soon as we can. So there are more in the pipeline. The other thing we do as well that is more based with the UC1, with our plugin controller, is we're updating this that can control different channel strips. So when you purchase this, you get access to channel strip 2 and 4KB, which are our channel strip plugins that work within your DAW. They're hosted in the DAW, but they're also hosted in our 360 environment. And I'm going to show you some control surface elements that we can extend the functionality of the UC1 onto the UF1. Cool, so we've jumped in and we're now going to be looking at our 360 software, and we've got our plugin host. So I've got all of our channel strip settings and our channel strip plugins hosted within Pro Tools, but also within our own mixer rack. So the idea with 360 is you can utilize your DAW as a base for playing your audio, but you can mix like you're on an analog console. So you're only looking at 360, and we control all the plugins off of our UC1, transport control off the UF1, and we can do all of our faders from here. So it's like its own little ecosystem within, just trying to streamline that process. Treat it like it's like an analog old school console, especially the fact you've got CS2 and 4K.
So you're doing the arranging and editing in Pro Tools?
Yeah, or whichever DAW you're working in, and we can then host all the plugins here and control and look at them here. So we're using the UF1 to visualize the EQ curve of the UC1. So we've got the plugin on UC1 here, and we can visualize the EQ here. So we've got it like an old school analog channel strip with the EQ and dynamic sections, but now we can visualize what we're doing. So, if you bend that EQ on the kick drum, you can now see that visualize and change.
If I get a bit, there we go. Putting a bit. Everyone wants loads of punishing mids in their kick drum.
I want more 500s in my kick.
But that makes a good point with the consumer, is that it's all well and good saying to people, you know, mix with your ears, but to have a little bit of visual feedback.
Yeah, for sure.
I bet there's a lot of guys out there like, give me one of those.
I mean, the idea is obviously, use your ears, but no channel strip's the same. And that's the whole point of our channel strip plugins, is they're mirroring different EQs on different consoles.
Oh, so if this was a different style of EQ,
that's going to change.
Would be...
Yeah. So at the moment, we can see on the screen here, we're using our 4KB. So if you flick that dial over on the channel over to channel 2, so we'll just move that over. Right, channel 3 here, we're now on our CS2.
Yeah.
And I've got no EQ curve on here, but you can start bending that in and do it like that.
I do like that. And there's, as I understand, there's many more ways that this visualization comes in handy. God, I can see why everyone's getting hip to this product now.
And and
the same with metering, right?
We'll jump into that in a second. So we've got the control here.
I'm the consumer right now.
We can also extend the functionality of the plugin. So in the updates we've had to CS2, we've added stereo width control on the stereo channels of the instance. We can now, instead of having to go through a sub menu on the UC1, I can control the width here, and you can just see it visualized on the screen. And we can bank through to different parameters. So I can control the entire plugin off of these two units together, and just go through every setting. Again, not having to go into the menu settings, not having to touch the plugin with my mouse. That's the idea.
What a good addition. Instead of being SSL could be fiercely traditionalist in that case, but I think they're very thoughtful. And that shows to how many, this has been incredibly popular. If this is new to you, I get it. It might seem what? But these have done really well, and we're a few years into it now.
Yeah, it's a real mature ecosystem. Yeah. We've got loads of things planned for it. We're developing it all the time. But it's a product that already has so many rich features. You're not starting off from a base of nothing. It's fully featured, but we're adding more and more, mostly with extra plugins and extra parameters that we're going to build into it. But the way it works together is seamless.
So we're getting visual representation of the EQ. What other visual representations do we get on there?
So when you buy the UF1, it also comes with the SSL meter plugin. And what we can do is we've changed the layer.
This is the one I'm excited about.
This is the one. Right, so we're going to skip through our modes.
38, single man, excited about a metering plugin.
So, here we are, on the screen. Press play.
Come on, baby.
So what we've got here, Obviously, it's going to drop away now. Actually, let's turn the volume down on the
oh,
thing
yeah,
so I can chat through. Yeah. Cool. So what we're looking at is our metering, so our overview metering, our peak and our RMS settings, and then our phase scope and liturgy graph. So this gives us key information into the stereo sort of balance of the mix, the loudness, and we can change the different scales of this. So we can flick through, we can go to linear times 2.
This is just so handy. I can see, out of all of them, if you were going to put your toe in there, I'm like, I've got my channel information, I've got overall information. Almost like having a meter bridge on a console. Oh, exactly like that, right?
It's exactly that. So it is the idea to bring everything all together. So we've got that. We've got a phase scope, your stereo balance. The phase scope is brilliant just to check recording your overheads and your snare drum. Just be able to quickly see, are they out of phase? Sometimes you might not just hear it, so having that is super helpful. And then obviously, we can change this. We can change the fades differences. The nice thing is we've got the reset if I peak, but I can also flick it into a VU mode. So now this is giving us proper VU metering of the mix, and this is obviously the standard old school way of looking at your levels. But we can also change this to PPM, and that's a broadcast standard.
It's a good screen as well.
It's beautiful, isn't it? It's like really visually
It's so
tight.
nice not having like some rinky-dink readout and having a proper OLED,
And then we can hit this again, and now we're seeing a full RTA. So it's just so useful for quickly seeing this. You don't have to have this on your screen, you can just have this on UF1. So you're not taking up real estate. If you're working on a laptop, which you could absolutely be doing that, you don't have to be just taking up all that real estate with just more screens. It's all there in front of you.
I'm just trying to think of a way not to buy this one, because I feel like everyone needs a... You get to that point when you're recording or anything where, like we said before, where you want hands-on control. Do I have to use 360?
You don't have to use 360. It's a nice way of hosting everything in one place, but you can equally just use this on its own in your DAW and just use it as a DAW controller. The idea is that, you're just using the single fader to bank through. You bank through your channels, use your single fader, write the automation. There's so much more we can look at as well in terms of DAW control.
I think it's amazing the manuals you've done on there. We did a video as well when this came out, which I'm sure will be linked above there. In terms of the hardware of the box itself, does it tilt?
Yeah, so it comes with additional legs, which you can change the angle just to pivot to whatever sort of height you want it to be. You can also rack mount this if you've got a 19-inch rack space. That's going to come
I've seen
along.
some beautiful desks where guys have sunk it into their desk. It looks real posh.
Yeah, exactly. It's fully metal construction, so it's hefty, it feels solid, there's no flex or bend in it. Not that you're going to abuse it, but it will take it.
It's a good size as well. It's definitely backpackable.
Yeah. The screen's super bright.
A little bit more about these other plugins.
Sure.
Because that's really caught my attention. I was just thinking, I can do this virtual mixing console, but it's just SSL, which is great because you're the daddies. But you're saying there's talk of other...
So at the moment it is just working with the SSL plugins. So you've got the 2 channel strips, so CS2 and 4KB. You've also got Bus Comp 2, which is included with the UC1. So that's our bus compressor, the famous bus compressor from all the consoles. We've got a beautiful emulation that's built into the controller there. And then now obviously we've got the SSL meter plugin that's included. But the more we go through, the more channel strips we're going to be adding or looking to add. And there could be more, I don't know. It's a constantly evolving product. So there's a roadmap that we're going to be giving all of our attention to. But at the moment, you've already got quite a lot you could be working with. You're not limited to anything here.
And these came out, and then when this came out, I see nothing but universal praise for this.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'd be like 3 dudes in there who's just going, mate, it's Andertons. Hey, bring the hate. But one thing is I realised that I'm just going to talk about it like a layman. How about I get out of it? You get the project up, and then do you just want to play show off some of the stuff that it can do? Let's do that.
Yeah, cool. Right. Cool. So Jack's just popped out, so I'm going to go and show you the setup. I've got a mix sort of started happening. It's not quite finished, but I'm working on it. So what I'm going to do is just go through and use the UF1 with UC1 to go through some plugin control, and we'll then do some automation and pan control using the UF8. So I'm going to shut up and play some audio to you, and you'll just hear me bending some some EQs, playing with the compressor, and then we'll have a look at sort of where it's going. So let's hit play.
Not gonna reach out forever. Could have broke rules, could have played fools. Me and you, we were like Bonnie and Clyde. But I won't forget.
Cool, so I'm gonna have a quick look at the bus compressor. We're gonna turn it off and on and just hear what that's doing in the mix.
I know you still want this. Everyone's talking, everyone knows it's now or never. I know you can hear me, even when you're dreaming. But this is the last time, not gonna reach out forever. Could have broke rules, could have played fools. Me and you, we were like Bonnie and Clyde. But I won't forget, let me say.
Cool, so that was a quick demo of the bus compressor on and off, just giving a bit of weight and sheen to the mix. Yeah, we'll go through and we'll try some other channels out and see what we can do. So we're in the mix and I'm just gonna have a quick look at 4KB and how I'm using this on my bass synth lead. So let's hit play and then we'll solo the track up and have a listen.
I know you can hear me.
Oh, we're back in the room. Hey, thanks for giving us some audio. We don't normally get that in pro audio demos. One thing I thought was great is you showed people out there how gnarly a bass has to be.
It's just got to cut through the mix. I mean, it's, in situ, sticking a bass line nice and subby, but if you're on TikTok on your phone, man, it's not going to cut through.
Yeah,
so now we're going to start to think weirdly about the world now and how we've got to sort of mix for different environments. And I mean, that was me just like messing around, just trying to really crank it, but that's quite cool, isn't it?
It's a pleasant, you've got this beautiful, like, pleasant pop track, and then when you solo it, like the hardest bass. So be sure.
It's the junglist in there, I can't lie.
Yeah, that's
making pop mixes, but.
Go check out the instructional videos again. I think I will after, because that's when I know a guy's real. I'm like, oh yeah, that bass is. That's what real talk on that bass. These are all out, ready to buy from
absolutely.
us. Do we do any, like, Matt's in the corner, do we, like, do any bundles on this stuff yet, or not?
I mean, I don't know.
Comment below if you want a bundle from Matt. Matt, come on, bundle it up. But yeah, links are below. And where can they catch you socially? Do they social media?
Yes, Solid State Logic. We've got our Instagram page. We've got Facebook.
Yeah, but you as well.
Me? Oh, Lucas's Rap on Instagram. You can see my really cool studio full of this stuff. I am mixing using SSL gear all day long.
Yeah.
So check out some of my records as well.
That sounds good, man. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
appreciate
thanks, Oz, for filming as well. See you soon on Andertons TV.